All right, hey YouTube, gonna make another video. This is a 2001 Harley-Davidson Sportster 883. A little back history on this bike. I actually looked at purchasing this bike. It's probably been a little over a year ago, and yeah, they didn't take my offer. A friend of mine bought it just recently and actually got it for cheaper than what I offered. So, really good deal on this bike. I think it's got like 300 and some thousand, yeah, 3,270 original miles. Like I said, it's a 2001, so pretty much this bike just set. Nobody rode it. Bike ran really well. It had couple issues, but one major issue was just it was leaking quite a bit of oil over here on the rear head gasket. You can see where oil was running down on the motor. The rest of the bike seemed to be pretty solid. It's dirty from where it was sitting in a barn for the last, I think, like, if there was 1,000 miles put on it in the last 10 years, it would surprise me. I can't remember what the title were, what it all said, but yeah, it was crazy. The bike literally just sits. So tank was clean on the inside. Paint is, I mean, near perfect condition. It's dirty, it's dusty, but all this will clean off. Seat, a dog got a hold of the corner of it, chewed up, looks like a cat or something got on top of it here, but not that big a deal. Needs a new seat. And yeah, I mean, other than that, the bike is really, really clean. We got new tires for it. These are just, they're dry rotted from sitting. You can see the dry rot cracks in it. There's got an LED tail light that's quite a bit slimmer. We'll clean all that up. Tag bracket will move. Different turn signals, forward controls. That's why the controls right now are off of it, and the side cover where the master cylinder, everything went. Putting some basically straight dumps exhaust on it that'll come right off the side, and then, like I said, have forward controls. I think that's pretty much it. But for the most part, what I'm going to be doing to it today, first thing I'm going to do is get the cams put back in it. I pulled the side cover off, didn't realize that there's a bolt in here that attaches, so when we pulled it off, everything came with it. So not that big a deal. So I'm gonna first start off with setting the cams, getting timing all set back, and then the big thing, I'm gonna be putting the 1275 Hammer Performance top end kit. So I've got it all set out here. Here's the cams I'll be putting back in it. Putting those back in, and then I've got the two jugs here. We ordered these with the pistons already in them, so basically I'll just have to hook up the wrist pins and bolt it all in. So we'll be using stock heads, so all that will go back. Complete gasket kit here. I will be installing a heavier clutch in the bike as well, and I think that's pretty much it. And then the ignition, it'll have a performance ignition, or instead of the old points. So anyway, we'll get started here. I'll cut back here in a second when I start working on putting the cams in. All right, so got the seat pulled off the bike. I went ahead and pulled the side cover off. As you can tell, all the cams gears are out of it. So basically, kind of what my plan is, once I pull this top end off, I'll get the timing all set back in here, put the side cover back on, and then start building back on the top side. So anyway, I thought he drained all the oil when he pulled the side cover off the first time on accident, and I guess I was wrong. There's still quite a bit in it, so that's why there's oil all over my floor now, but oh well. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. First thing I'm gonna do is pull this tank off so I can get into the top side, get the carburetor yanked out of it, and go from there. These are 1/2-inch bolts that hold this tank on. So I believe there's 4. There's 2 at the front and then 2 at the back. And bolt number 2's out, so tank should lift up into the fuel line. Right off. So basically right now what I'm doing is pulling the clamp off the fuel line here. So basically what it has are these crimp down style clamps. They got a little deal in the center, crimp them, pull them tight. So just clipping that off, and then yeah, I'll pull the fuel line off, and then the tank should raise up. There might be a fuel, possibly a fuel gauge or a fuel level sensor too. I'm not sure what it's like. Again, I shut the petcock off, so hopefully we won't have any fuel leaking anywhere. And we'll see if we got any other lines underneath here. Again, I've never worked on this year, so it looks to be a couple vacuum lines. I think that's it. Yeah, 5/16 holds the ground on. And then there's vacuum on the back side of the petcock. That'd come off. And I think there's one more vacuum line. Okay. Or bit line, I think is actually what that is. So tank's off. All right, so again, I'm gonna pull the air filter off, and then I will pull the carb out, disconnect everything on the top side that's in the way, and hopefully this will go pretty smooth. Bear with me, my cameraman ran off on me for a minute. It's my son helps me out recording some of this stuff every once in a while, so figure it's good for him. He can learn a little bit out here while I'm doing it. So Allen wrenches at. All right, got my cameraman back. So again, I'm gonna pull these Allen heads off here to hold this air filter on. Again, anybody that's watching this, Hammer Performance has plenty of good content out there on how to put these kits on. Basically, I'm doing this just for, from a individual in a garage, doing it. So, and then more so, I really want to show just the before and after, kind of my impressions on how much of a difference this kit makes. That's kind of the thing I'm excited about. It's one reason why I'm excited to do this, because there's a good possibility I'll be doing it to my bike as well. Or just like to compare the two and see how much of a difference it makes. So. Alright, so I'm gonna try to pull this carburetor straight towards me. There we go. It's in there. So I'm gonna tip it out here towards me where I can get. I'm actually just gonna pull the fuel line with it rather than cut it off, and then I'll only have to put one clamp back on the top. So got it pulled towards me. I'll have to pull the throttle here loose, let it hang up front, and then as well as on the back side there's also a choke. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab a Phillips and get that pulled off. Yeah, a little different than what I'm used to. I'm used to having a hose clamp or something to hold on that, hold them onto the boot. Not the case here. Ooh. I'm gonna say this has been, somebody's tried taking this off before, so I may have to go. Yep. So there's a couple different ways to get those loose. I actually have a impact driver that works really, really well. I'm not going to use it on this particular right now, but basically one of these work awesome. You put your Phillips bit on the end, smack it with a hammer, it drives it in as it twists. So really works well. Not so much on this carburetor where it's already kind of loose, it's going to be hard to hold. So I'll just end up, I'm going to use a pair of ice grips. Line them up. Clamp on the outside, see if I can get them to break loose. Once I get them loose, they should come right out. But yeah. So there we go. A lot easier than screwing around with it and stripping it out more or whatever. So. Fun to get into, it looks like, so may have to go a different route. We'll see here. Let's see what I can do with that one. Find the right Phillips is going to fit that the best. Really, none of these are really wanting to fit in there perfect. So luckily that came out a lot easier than what it could have. Sometimes these can be a real pain in the butt. There's nothing worse than stripping one out, especially if it's in a place you really can't get into to begin with. So that loosens up all the throttle. So basically this whole bracket now will come out. I can pull my throttle cables forward and off here. Kind of popped out just a bit. There we go. So, and then they just slide out of the housing. Turn it over, do the same thing. That one. Like I said, then I'm gonna pull these and just let them hang out up front here, out of the way. Okay, so again, vacuum line here, I'll go ahead and pull. This is the other one up to the petcock, so that runs off the carburetor there. And then I'm going to turn this over. You've got, looks to be another vacuum line here on the bottom side, so we'll pull that back. All this stuff, I'll end up clipping that zip tie and getting that all out of the way. Fuel line's coming out this side with me, and it looks like that's probably a 1/2 inch. All right, so let's see if I can get down in there. I honestly think it's a 9/16, but I'm not sure yet. I really can't get into it. The longer range, so let's see what this does. There we go. Yeah. It is a 9/16. It broke loose and should be able to pull it out by hand here. If it's like most chokes, it'll have probably a spring in behind here. It's holding pressure on it, but we'll see. Yep. So, yeah. There we go. So, carbs out. Again, I'm going to set this over here out of the way. And we'll, again, I'm going to pull this stuff, some of this stuff out to get it out of my way. That way I got more room to get in, start pulling these covers off. So we'll come around here. Here in a second, I'm going to put this actually probably up on the bike stand. But for right now, I'm going to keep pulling stuff off. I'm going to pull this choke bracket off over here on the other side. Way too big. Let me get the right size. Allen wrench for that. Second here, grab a wrench for a cheater. In there. definitely tight. So again, I want to pull this whole bracket assembly out of here, get it out of my way, and then I'll put all this back here in a second. But let's see. Yeah, I'm really excited to get this thing up and running. I think it'll be really cool to feel the difference in power, if there's a big difference or not. And again, like I said earlier, I'm not really. Somebody wants to watch a how-to video. There's definitely better videos out there. Like I said, Hammer Performance does their own videos that are really good. So this is just more my perspective on the whole project. Probably had Loctite or something on them. They get a little tight when they get towards the end of the bolt. Pain in the butt right now because the back bracket's loose too, so it wants to flop around. That's alright. There we go. So, there we go. That's the back bracket I was talking about that was wanting to move around on me when I was trying to get these loosened up. So, bolts for that. I think I can probably just pull this coil out too right now. So red's on the left-hand side, white is on the right side. The coil wires here. All of this out kind of together. Let's see here if I can. Oops. So I got a vacuum line. There is a connector here. Let me see if I can undo that. I think I can up here. So up here on the top side, there's a connector here that just pushes in. Should push in here and pull out, I hope. There we go. Okay, and that releases everything to come out this side. Again, coil wires. Actually clips together here. I may have to get a small screwdriver to pop that apart, but anyway, I wonder if it'd be easier just to pull my ignition and let the ignition maybe hang and get rid of all this. I think I'm gonna go that route real quick. On my Allen wrenches again. So again, what I'm doing, there's a small Allen screw here that holds, looks like holds the key housing together here. So I'm gonna pull it off, and then I can set all this stuff to the side and just leave the key. So now I've got the coils, choke, basically everything out of the center of the bike. So it wasn't too bad to pull it out loose. Again, then I could kind of flip that stuff all up out of the way. Let me try to, we'll see how much room I get. I may have to cut some zip ties to get some wiring out of the way here, but we'll see how that all goes. So kind of next thing, we'll pull the intake out from between the two cylinders, get that out of the way, and then we'll start working on the front motor mounts and just get everything loose on the jugs, and then start pulling the covers off. So we'll keep going. Again, I'm trying to keep all my parts set over here together. That way I don't lose anything. And I'm trying to keep track of what's what. I really plan on doing this all. So again, really plan to do all this hopefully today, and have all this kind of knocked out. We'll see how this all works out. So again, trying to keep everything kind of put together here as I go. Again, I'm going to try pulling these. I may not be able to do that with this. We'll see here. Nope. May have to get something different here to get down into those. Let me try on the back side. Let me go grab just a regular Allen wrench, see if I can get into those. There we go. Again, just using a wrench to help me as a cheater to break these loose. Kind of hoping if I loosen these up, maybe give me some room to move these around. Not real sure how these exactly work on this style bike, but we're gonna find out together. It doesn't look like I take these all the way out. It looks like I can. I'll probably take them all the way out because I'll need the bolts, I'm sure. But I guess if you're doing this, you don't, and you're just pulling the intake, you don't have to pull them all the way out. They should slide forward once you pull the front bolts out, which I may do. I'm curious how. Pulling this rubber out will give me a little more room or not. I'm not really too crazy about the way they designed that. You really can't get into those worth a crap. So I almost need to chop one of these down. Cut some off of it. Let me, I think I'm gonna try that, cut this down, see if I can get into it better. Basically what I'm looking at here is if I cut off, let's say half an inch, quarter inch, something like that off of this Allen wrench, that'll allow me to get in far enough to where I will clear this neck, something like that, and then I'll be able to move that. Right now, I'm not having very good luck getting that in because it's wanting to hit up here. So let me give that a shot and I'll be back. Okay, so basically I've got this cut down here. You can see where I cut that off. Now I'm trying to get it in here where I can actually move the damn thing. Man, what these things are in there. Really tough to get into. I run into an issue now where I don't really have the room. Again, there we go. Really kind of a pain in the butt. I don't know if they got like a specialty tool to fit these or what, but I can tell you right now, this is not a great design. There we go. Once you get them loose, they're not bad, but crap. I still gotta get the other side loosened up. Got the rear bolts completely out and the front one loose there. Let me see if I can get the other one to come up and loosen out. Like I said, it's in kind of a poor location. If I can get it to ever move just a little bit. There we go. Finally. Again, what I did was cut down a regular Allen wrench. Hopefully this will give me the room to get these out. Okay, so I've got the intake off. Thinking at some point this thing got tweaked just a little bit. Where these bushings and everything bolt in, because this one here, I'm thinking the intake probably needed pulled down just a touch. So I don't know if at some point this got lifted up or something happened, but so here in just a little bit I'll get this one loosened up too, but get those spun around where I think they need to be and get everything leveled out. But yeah, it's kind of a pain in the butt to get these out. It shouldn't have been that hard. Again, should have a little more clearance than this. So, but yeah, I thought I'd show that, and that I did get these out. And like I said, I think what really honestly probably happened here is this got tweaked just a little bit, and it should be it there somewhere, so where your bolt can go in and out a little more ease. So I don't know, we'll see when I put this back together, but I'm thinking that something more like that maybe is how I need to get it started, and then tip it up. I don't know, we'll figure all that out here in just a little bit when I go back and put it back together. But it is off, so I'm going to continue on. The next step here, my jack out of the way and find out what I did with my other 2 bolts. Here, like I said, trying to keep all this stuff together. So intake and intake bolts over there. And again, now I am going to start here on the top side. See if we can start pulling stuff apart and hopefully put it back together. Again, it's a buddy's bike, so and worst case scenario, if I can't, he knows where it's at. So basically cutting this zip tie, give me a little more play in some of these hoses and stuff, get some stuff out of the way here. Tuck back here. Okay, so I think that ought to be good enough. Well, I'm going to start on the rear cylinder because it seems to be the tightest, and we'll go from there. So for the most part, I don't think this will be too bad. I've actually had an old twin cam Softail years ago that it's probably in one of the videos in the background or something too. But I actually have a video, or had to put new gaskets in the top end on it. So I learned a long time ago these are kind of a pain in the butt, to be honest. But we'll see if I can do all this, hopefully in the bike. But again, kind of the first time, so we'll see how this all works. There's 4 bolts. I'll hold the top plate on, and then you've got, once you get this pulled, there's some bolts on the other side. I'm not real familiar with how many. Let's see here. So this should come right up and loose. I'm going to get a hammer here and kind of tap on her just a touch. Rubber mallet here. Let's see if I can get it kind of freed up just a little bit. Don't want to get too crazy with this. A rubber dead glue. I'll just kind of tap on the edges, see if we can get her. Get it to free. Or not. Really don't want to put anything underneath it, to be honest. Go. Kind of hear it sounds like it's coming loose there. There we go. Alright, so now you do have to separate the top, which fortunate for me did not. So but you do have to separate the top and the bottom pieces here. This is a 2-piece cover, so I'm going to try to get these to come apart here. Like I said, I don't really want to put anything between them because I don't want to scar it or mess up the surface. But we'll see if I can get that to free up just a little bit. There we go. So basically just barely sticking a screwdriver in there and just kind of trying to get just a touch. There we go. So now it's free, it should come up the rest of the way, hopefully. There we go. So top cover off. Should be able to work it up and out. See if I'm kind of, my gasket's hanging me up or what here. So just press it up tight against the top of the frame and slide it out to the battery side of the box, or the bike. All right, so that covers off. Now you pull this cover here, kind of the same thing. Should be able to raise it up, get everything to clear, and work it out this side of the bike. Okay, so now that all that's free, I'm going to go ahead and pull the bolts here on the top side. So pretty much we're to the point now where we can pull all of this loose and raise it off the bike. So I think these are sockets there. I think those are 1/2 inch, I believe. They may be 7/16 inside there. They are 7/16. So ratchet openers, POS. So okay. So again, pull all of these loose. And you could use an impact to release or to take all these out. I'm not doing so right now. So. Again, once I get these cylinders off, then I will set all my timing, all my gears back down below. Normally you shouldn't have to do that. Said that was not what meant to happen. So, all right, I'm gonna go get a short 7/16 so I can get into those other bolts. So I've got a short 7/16 to reach these front and back bolts. They're up underneath the frame here. And just backing these out. Oops. This one here on the very back is kind of tough to get into. Don't have a lot of room, but it's okay. We'll see how all this works out once I start putting this back together. I'm a little concerned with torquing everything down and being able to get into everything like you're supposed to, but we'll see. All right, there's one. Oh. There's two. And let me see if I can get back in here and get the back one, or I can get to it. So I'm trying to hold it on my. Now the joys of getting the socket out. Now, you do? You want to work on your motorcycle?
These.
Yeah.
I can't.
No. Yeah, you can use those.
Those tools?
Yep.
Don't you hold me?
Yep.
Then I'll give it to you?
Yep. Go ahead. Okay.
That is scaring me.
So, cut those out. Try to pull this out without dropping the washer. So there's a couple.
My mouse is tight because my mouse is broken.
It's broken. You better fix it. So now I'm pulling out some Allen wrenches. There are some bolts on this backside. Here's a couple Allens in the corner. I'll get these pulled out and then we'll see what she does. Again, this will be probably a lot easier pulling it out of the bike for sure, but
You're broken right now. No, I do not tight this.
yeah,
No, it's still broken a bit.
still broken a little bit. Okay,
I keep fixing it.
good. Get it fixed good.
My wheels are broken
Okay.
right now.
All right, got those out, and I think all I like is these bolts in the center here, which are ½ inch.
Which one you use? Yeah, which one I speak I use? This one. That's too broken. That's too broken.
Yep.
Too broken right now.
Keep working on it so you can get it fixed.
I should have put it.
Okay. Swapped over to the impact. I'm going to use it to get these out the rest of the way.
Don't you hold me?
Break all these loose. broke loose here. I'm going to put the impact back on them. Save me a little bit of time. Fixed, good. Okay. All right, so got the head out again. I've got new gaskets. I hope they're in all the kits, so I'll clean these all up so I can get these heads back on. One thing I didn't do on camera, you have to pull these push rods out, and they're like I think the one on the backside had 3 red rings front. So keep track of where they came out of, as well as which cylinder. So that's something I'm going to do over here on the table, is basically line these up so they came out of which side out of the motor. So I'm going to set this stuff down here, but basically I'm going to keep all the stuff organized. So this is the rear cylinder, and then the front cylinder will be on that side once I clean stuff up here. So, but I'm going to continue on pulling the head or the cylinders off. So basically, to pull these, you got bolts here in the center. They'll come up, and all this should come off together. So 4 bolts, and I'm not 100% sure. Yep, or 1/2 inch. So again, all I have to use I have to break these over before. Yeah. He's getting a bigger wrench because it's going to take a little bit, I think, to break these loose. There we go. Alright, so 2 on the outside are broke loose. I'm going to grab an extension here and take off the 2 on the top side. So, okay, maybe I'm not going to use an extension. I'll just go in here. Okay, so those are all loose now. Should be able to just pull them right out, and then that will allow me to take the actual head off, and then the cylinder should come out from underneath that. So again, the further you get down, the easier this gets. So basically what these look like, I guess, there's going to be studs down here on the inside. These just thread into, and that's what holds it all together. Again, like I said, hopefully this video is useful for somebody. Again, I'm really doing this more so for the before and after. I'm just really excited to see what this thing does as far as power, performance. I know I'll have to get online and look up the break-in stuff or find the information that came with this kit. But there is a break-in period on these bikes. I think it's like 500 miles before you get too crazy with it. All right, so this should come right up off of those studs and straight up and out. Okay, go ahead and pull these out. There's little O-rings that hold in place. So there we go. There's the rear head. Again, I'm gonna try to keep all that on the right-hand side for rear. I'll clean this off, put everything on the front side for the other. I may go ahead and put the rear cylinder on. Kind of start putting some of this together before I get too far. So basically, with this, I want to raise this piston up to top dead center. Not top dead center. Drop it down. Give me a little more room. Then I'll pull this up and then I'll rotate it again to get access to the wrist pin. Pull the wrist pins out, and she should be ready to go. Oh, but yeah, this motor's kind of cylinder walls look really, really good. Top that piston's got a lot of carbon on it for no more miles that are on it. Okay, come around on that side. Basically, I'm rotating the motor down here. So, right there's all the way down, and there we go, top this. What's nice now is, like I said, I can do my timing a little easier because you don't have the push rods in here, so I can actually shove those up a little bit and put my timing, all that back in here. So, like I said, I'll get to that in a minute. Man. So again, cylinder's gonna be a little tough. I'm gonna tap on it just a little bit with my dead blow, wherever. Yeah, as you can tell, this is definitely a average garage that's right in front of me. I'm always looking for tools. Quick. Okay, so basically again, sliding this up to where I can get to my wrist pin, which is right here. Actually, to be honest, I can probably pull this all the way off because I don't plan to reuse these, but pretty much what I'm talking about is if you get this up to a little bit higher here, get it up to about there. Kind of let that rest. I don't know how well you guys can see right in here. That's where there's some pins. You can pull those out, shove your pin out, and then piston will come out with the cylinder. Again, I don't have to do it this way. I'm choosing to just to keep that piston, everything in there. First thing I'm gonna do is get some rags, some clean rags and stuff down in there to keep stuff from going down into my crank. Okay, yeah, I'm stuffing a rag in around the cylinder here, just in case like anything falls. I don't want the wrist pin falling down the bottom of the crank or anything crazy. So again, pull that sleeve up. Then you got your deals in here. So let me get a pick. Basically, you can see right here. There's the pin. So I like to slide those back just a little bit. Get them to here. Get up underneath it. And slowly work it out. You can see it's starting to kind of come out. Be careful with these because they will shoot across the garage. You can also then grab here and kind of slide those up, and she should be about to come out. There we go. So that's all it is. And then you'll be able to shove the piston ring out. Which I'll go around the other side and kind of shove it toward you guys there. Oops. I don't really want to
pull the piston out, like I said, I'm going to keep it in place. I'm not 100% sure why it isn't wanting to come out like it's supposed to, but it's not. So again, it's the same thing on the other side here. You can slide those up, pop out those wrist pins. Actually, guys, I don't really want to keep messing with it, so here, I'm going to pull the cylinder out here, set it down, and like I said, that should there we go. So it should press right out the other side. I don't want to get too crazy on this because one mistake people tap on these and you can actually really mess up you don't want to mess up your bearings down below. Raises right up. So there's your piston. Not a lot to it, but again, like I said, that one's pretty dirty for considering the low miles on this bike, but a lot of carbon buildup on the top. But the rest of it looks really good. Cylinder walls look really clean. So most likely, like I said, I was really wanting to leave these in so that way they were already all gapped and everything. It's a lot easier. I may put them back in myself. And basically what I'm talking about on gap here is on your piston rings. You need to keep that gap like right here and the gap here separated and turned to a certain distance apart, and then everything goes back inside, which, like I said, I was wanting to keep all that together, so if I sold this on eBay, or if he does, we can actually maybe get a little bit out of it, but we'll see. Again, I want to keep these together. Set them over here out of the way for now. And I actually may go ahead and start on the front side here. Get it pulled loose. Same process. It should be a little simpler just because, like I said, it's on the front side. So one thing I may have to do is get some more racks. I'm kind of running out of clean racks. So again, you really just want to make sure you don't get anything down in any of the bottom part of the motor here. So we'll kind of throw some stuff, rags over top of those, and we'll get started on the front side. Again, I'm trying to keep all my parts picked up and together. One thing I'm going to do real quick is actually pull the stuff off of the table, the cams and stuff I'm going to leave here in the center because I'm going to grab those in a second. I'm actually going to move my air filter assembly. This is all stuff I'm going to need here shortly, so we're going to get it out underneath there. And like I said, I'm going to try to keep all this stuff together. Just bolt for the seat. Just stuff like that. Spark plugs I won't reuse. These actually go on the timing cover. These went with the throttle, so I'm going to put them with the seat. They're just kind of by themselves. And then that goes up on the inside too with your timing. I'll get to it. So, okay, now that everything's clean, again, I'm gonna move forward with setting the parts on the front side here. That I'll be using, or we'll be going back into the bike, I guess. Again, it might, I don't know. I thought about putting this on the jack, but the thing I don't like about putting it on the jack is anytime you move around with it. Sorry, this has been bugging the crap out of me.
yeah, like I said, been planning to put this on the up on the jack, but I'm not a huge fan of how it sets up there. You get too rough with it, it wants to fall forward or back, so it's just easier to keep it on the kickstand for now. Put it up on it, we'll see. We're gonna go ahead and pull the front cylinder here. Same process, just like I said, there'll be a little more room. But, I think there's Loctite on these as well. I like it anyway. Pretty much a repeat process to do the front as it is the back again. One thing, like I said, just be very sure to keep track of everything. Keep your front and back parts together. But again, this can be kind of intimidating. It's really, they're not that bad. Again, I haven't done a Sportster, but I have done other bikes, so not that much. Can't be that different from a metric. This is right there in the way, which is awesome. Again, this should have came with all new gaskets, hopefully. It's got these inside these bolts. There's little O-rings, and they have a tendency sometimes to leak through them. I mean, kind of see the little O-ring that's on the washers there. Like I said, I don't know if it'll come with them or not. But pull the two off the other side here. Okay. All right, so we got the top cover loose here. Let me grab my dead blow again and kind of tap on it. See if I can get it broke loose. Again, you don't get too crazy with it, just kind of tap upward. You can hear it when it actually breaks loose. Probably have to do the same thing on this side as I did the other side. I'll just take a screwdriver and just barely put it underneath and just kind of twist it. There we go. You can hear it come loose there. Again, you don't want to get too crazy with it. Don't want to mess up the... Okay. So, like I said, a lot easier to work on the front side than the back. Again, like I said, it is a two-piece ring. There seems to be a little tighter, so we'll do the same thing. Just kind of put it underneath, break it loose, and pull it up off the bike. There we go. Okay. Parts. And basically what I'm stating by when I
just be careful is you don't want to mess up this surface. So if you're barely poking out here in the edge, just barely under it, just enough to kind of break it loose, you'll be all right. As long as you don't mess any of that surface up, you'll be all right. Okay. Again, follow the same procedures. The other side, I'll have to break, pull all these bolts off on the inside, outsides, to get the head off here. The good news is there's a little more room on this side, so make things go a little easier. I'll probably get the extension. Find out where I put the other bolts at, or the other socket. Just for now. Alright, got those. Looks like all loosened up here. And this one here. Again, getting these rocker covers pulled loose. Down to the head. Like I said before, I had a soft tail years ago that had was leaking out of this front one, and yeah, they're kind of a pain in the butt, honestly, to get into. But when I did it, I did kind of the same thing. I pulled the rocker covers, just like I'm doing now. Replace those front and back gaskets, and then put all back together. But wasn't too bad, but they definitely could have given a little more room on some of this. Again, I'll probably end up using the impact maybe on these to make it a little faster. Last thing I got left is 2 Allens in the corner. And we'll see if we can get these out of here. Actually, I think I'm gonna go get a regular Allen wrench for these. They're kind of hard to get into. Right in there. Bear with me for a second. place. They're not too bad to get out, just you're not going to get them off super fast, I guess. Be nice if they had a little more clearance, but it's alright. The front one's not near as bad as the back one, but here in a second, I'll show you guys a video, or I'll show you close up here in the video of what I was talking about, how these push rods are labeled. Once I get this all pulled off, I'll kind of show you that on the other side here. Alright, get really close here. Okay, so basically, when I get this lifted up here, I'll show you what I was talking about. There you go. You can see here on your push rods, you've got, so that one's got 3 taperings. This one's got 1. That basically tells you when they go back in, it'll be the same thing. 3 in the front, the 1 ring in the back, and set all that back up. So, like I said, not too bad. But I'm gonna go ahead and start setting some of this stuff over there together. So we'll keep all the parts in the same order here. And then we will pull the head off and inject. So basically I'm going to pull these up and out of the way. Just make sure not to bend them. Again, I'm going to set them with the appropriate rockers and heads over here. And now we're ready to pull these head bolts out, just like on the last one. Like I said, I really what I want to, I guess, show in this video is that, you know, anybody can do this. You don't necessarily have to go to a shop or have really fancy tools, I guess. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people that install this exact kit. Man, let me get this spun around here. Using this impact to make it a little quicker. So again, bolts are out. And we're ready to pull the head off. Actually, no, we're not. Let me run these motor mount bolts out of here real quick, here and here, and that should give me enough access, hopefully, to get into that. I don't know if I got the right side wrench down here. Yep, 9/16. And I actually may have to completely pull that off the front too. These are a little different on these older models than your newer Sportsters. These are gonna have, they're not rubber mounted motor mounts, so it is something just different on these bikes than say my 06 over there. So yeah, I am actually going to have to pull this whole motor mount out up here. So looks like there's 2 9/16 there as well. These studs weren't. Yeah, this side here it looks like has a bolt. The other side has a stud, so we'll see how this all works. But I'm thinking that whole motor mount's gonna have to come out. And I'm not sure how long I've been at this. I'm gonna say so far, probably 3 hours, roughly. So about 3 hours so far, probably to this point, or will be once I get this side out. So not terrible, but it does take a little bit of time. Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and pull this out. I don't wanna, honestly don't wanna mess with it being in the way. Careful with my finger here. I don't want to scuff it up. Those are welded on the top, so make sure I wasn't just spinning in circles here. But yeah, they are welded up. Stay there, maybe. This will pull basically your front motor mount and your horn bracket up on this your bike anyway. Just not want to come. There we go. All right, so there we go. I'll drop that down and out of the way. Maybe. Motor mount's out, set it over to the side. Pull that bolt out, let my horn, basically I'm just gonna let the horn hang here. And I'm gonna put all my bolts again together. Help all this together, so. There's my engine. All right, so now the head's ready to come off. Should pull straight up, just like the last one. Yes, and it does. So, again, pull those right up off of there.
Again, there's just little O-rings that hold down on these that keep them from leaking. We'll do the same thing. Again, I'll probably pull this all the way out rather than rotate or mess with anything. Just pull it up, off, and set this head up here on the ground. Okay. Really close to having this thing pulled apart here, so I'm gonna shove. Again, doing that just to keep everything clean here. So again, doing the same process over here on the wrist pin. Got it shoved to where I want it. So basically reach in this hole. Oops. Prop it up and out. Again, sometimes they shoot out, which that one did. There it is. So, and then we'll press, yeah, that came out a lot easier. Press that, pull this one right out, and we're off. So, that pretty much takes care of all the removal process. I'm probably gonna end this video here, take a 30-minute break or so, and then I'm gonna come back out. I'll start with the timing so I can get that side cover all put back together and start putting the cylinder on. Go from there. But yeah, really, like I said, not a bad process. I think I'm at this about 3 hours probably. I'm gonna try not to edit out too much of the video. I'm gonna try to keep it all pretty much together. I know there's gonna be some parts where I'm gonna pull out where I'm searching for tools, or my daughter's helping me out, so some of that I'll edit out of the video, but I'm gonna try to keep it for the most part real time. But anyway, I'll leave it here, and we'll, like I said, I'll have another video of the installation. So again, anybody has any questions, feel free to ask. You know, I am doing this at home out of a garage, so I'm not a professional. Don't claim to be a professional or be doing, you know, or I'm, you know, don't know everything. So, but again, if there's something I can help you with, I will. And feel free to hit that like button, share the videos, and I would truly appreciate it if you subscribed. Thanks for watching.